Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again and welcome to another video here at Wild Wind Lacquer. In today's video we are doing more of my Destash project. This will be tray 5 and what I'm doing basically is going through drawer by drawer in my newly organized collection and seeing if I am willing to let go of any of the polishes. Over the last couple of years my collection has exploded. If you are a regular on my channel, you'll know that I did a ton of mystery box unboxings over the last few years, so I do have quite a lot of polish from those in my collection, as well as other miscellaneous purchases, polish pickup, HHC, and all of that. So where my collection stands right now is very, very big, and I need to see if I can whittle it down. My goals aren't really necessarily numerical. I don't really have a goal in mind for how many I want to get rid of. I want to remind myself of what I have and see if there are any polishes that I'm willing to part with. So in today's video, we are doing, like I said, part 5, and this is C. So this is going to have a lot of different C brands. Looks like we have some Coio, we have Crystal Knockout, Circ Colors, Cleona Cosmetics, a random Calvin Klein, and Contrary Polish, and Ciate. So there's a lot of different brands. I think we're just going to move everything to one side and just go through every polish and see what I can get rid of. So first up, Crystal Knockout. This first one is a thermal called Rainbow Fluorite Tower. This one probably was one of the first polishes that I got from this brand through Polish Pickup, if I am remembering correctly. I think this is part of that gemstones and crystals theme that I discovered Polish Pickup on, and that would have been January 2018. So this is a beautiful color. I don't remember what color it turns to in the warm state, but my guess would be some sort of a green or minty shade. That one is staying. Next up is another Crystal Knockout. Some of these bottles are going to be fuzzy. This is another thermal called All of the Lovers. This is like a blackened, somewhere between a charcoal and a black, and it has some flakes in it that are like either a light gold or a silver. There's some red particles in here as well. Here's how it looks on the nail. Looks like I did not top coat it, so that is dried to a matte finish. And again, I don't remember what color this turns to in the warm state. Also, a lot of my thermals are older, so I don't know if they're still going to be changing. Let's go ahead and gloss this one up. All right, so there it is, glossy. I don't know, I would say I think I'm okay just letting this one go. I don't necessarily need to know what color it turns into in the warm state. Yeah, it's just not really speaking to me, so I think I'm okay letting that one go. All right, the next one up from Crystal Knockout is this one called Color Pulse. This one is a lot of iridescent flakes. There's shimmer particles. I think there might be hollow. It looks like this is another one that I did not top coat. What was I doing? All right, so there it is, glossy. I'm seeing shifts from green to like a magenta on one side in that shimmer. Then of course all of the different colors from those flakies and the other particles. That one is staying. Could have sworn I had more from that brand though. Well, we'll see as we go. Maybe they're just hiding. Let's go to Contrary Polish. Oh no, actually this is Cuticles, I think. This is one that does not have a name, so I actually don't know how I put this away. I usually try not to put my polishes away if they don't have names, so this is most likely not in my nail polish app. I'm actually going to put that aside so that I can figure that one out because it needs a name. Next up, let's go ahead and do Color Spectrum Polish. This is another thermal. This is one that I'm pretty sure has died. This is Kitty, Where Is My Door? Because the swatch on the ring is different than in the bottle. So it seems that this is what the color was supposed to be initially in the cold state, and it was supposed to turn green in the warm. And as you can see, the bottle is all green all the time. I did keep this though because it is a very pretty shimmer polish. It has these blue ghostly flakes in it, and I thought it would be really nice as a topper. And I'm thinking what I'm probably going to do is just swatch that and put this in my topper section, because if that's what I'm going to use it for, that's where I should put it. But I mean, look at the beautiful shifts it has. Very pretty. So keeping that, just moving its location. Here's another one from Color Spectrum Polish. This is Fall Harvest Mary Jane and Manny's. This is a really pretty multi-chrome in a fall tone. You have that orange, sort of a copper lean with some gold at the edges, and then some very small, like multi-chromatic flakes in there. Now I do have a lot of this kind of a polish, not necessarily exact dupes, but let's go ahead and just see how this falls as far as other polishes in my collection. Do I think it'll stand out? I know I kept it because it is a beautiful orange, but if I have a lot of other oranges for the fall season, would I pick this one out over the others? It does have a nice scattering of those small, like crushed flakes. So here's a second coat. So far in the two coats, I'm not really seeing a ton of shifts. I am definitely seeing sort of a golden wash. And actually, you know what, in other lights, that gold does sort of shift to a pinky tone, which is rather pretty. Okay, maybe I'm changing my mind on this. Let's build up a third coat. So I would say this is not 100% opaque in the three coats, but it should be okay on the nail. Just trying to decide if mostly what I'm going to see is that gold, because I don't know if I would love it if the gold is the most predominant thing, but I am still seeing shifts to that pinky red, and of course the scattering of those multi-chrome flakes. All right, so I had to take this one out for a walk in the house, take it outside, see what other shifts I could see. And I will say, in this lighting, I'm seeing a lot more of the gold than I saw in most of the other lights that I was in. I could definitely see that pinker tone. So that is actually going to stay. I was really thinking for a bit there that I was going to destash that one, but nope. So that one was Fall Harvest. All right, the next color spectrum is One Love. This is a black base with some holographic flakes, as well as either multichrome or iridescent flakes. There's also a shimmer particle that you're seeing as a red to green with probably some gold, but I definitely see that green quite nicely. That one is staying. Next up from Color Spectrum is Oogie Boogie. This one came out in the little box of horrors. Actually do not know where I got this one because I don't think I purchased it. So my guess is maybe it came in one of the mystery boxes that I got. It's mostly like a blackened jelly base with some iridescent flakes that I'm seeing flashes like a blue to green and then a green shimmer. I think I'm okay letting this one go. It definitely falls into that realm of polishes that I was destashing quite a lot of a couple of years ago when I did my destash a few years ago. And I definitely have changed my mind a little bit, like my tune has slightly changed about blackened polishes. So I like them a bit more than I thought I did. I've noticed over the last 6 months or so, I've actually reached for them as opposed to just admiring them in my collection. But I have noticed that it really depends on the shimmer particles in them. And this one is predominantly a very dark green. And I feel like if I was looking for this greener coloration, I might reach for something else. So while I'm leaning in that direction, I'm just going to go with it because I've only destashed one so far. So we're going to go ahead and destash that one. That was Oogie Boogie. Now let's go ahead and go for a contrary polish. The first one is We Sleep, We Dream. This is a brand that doesn't make polish anymore, and I want to say this is one that I got through Polish Pickup. This is a beautiful darker blue that has a scattering of those hollow flakes as well as shifting shimmer. That is staying. Next up is Cocoon Galaxy, also from Contrary Polish. It's a magnetic. So this was one that I remember being pretty excited to get. Okay, and maybe in the bottle it's not quite as light. Yeah, I think it's just the exterior of the bottle has sort of got that white cast. The white pigmentation is sort of settled. So that is staying. Next up from Contrary, we have Demented Denim. This is a blue with some iridescent flakes. I want to say there's also like a Aurora shimmer that I'm seeing in the same shift as those flakes. So green, gold, and maybe like an aqua. There's also flashes of orange. Yeah, look at those. That is staying. Next up from Contrary, we have If You Play With Fire. Ooh, look at that one. So this is another beautiful shade of blue, a bit brighter than the other ones that we looked at. This has a beautiful mix of components. Look at that fire. So you're seeing the red, orange, gold, and green. There's hollow in this one as well. That is staying for sure. Next up from Contrary, we have Crimson Glow. I want to say this is one of the last polishes that I remember getting from this maker through Polish Pickup. And this is a beautiful shade of red, a crimson red. There is a beautiful shifting shimmer in here that goes from like a red to green to gold, and a scattering of those hollow flakes that take on a bit of a pink cast to them because they're in that red base. That is staying. Let's do Coio next. This first one from them is Gaia. This is a really interesting sort of a pinky red terracotta, almost a watermelon, like if you mixed watermelon with terracotta, because it has a pinch of the clay tone to it, but it's not as orange as normal terracottas. It has that, well, watermelon tone to it. It's very interesting. I do want to hold on to that one. Next up, this poor bottle. Oh my goodness. I don't know what has gone on with this bottle, but every time I see it in my collection, it gets worse and worse. This one is called Boston Cream Pie. This also needs a very good shake. I want to say that this is one that I got through Trans Design in a pretty big haul back in like 2019. And yeah, it's another instance where the bottle exterior looks worse than the inside. It is a rather pretty sort of a pinky leaning mauve shade. There's some brown in it as well. It's a very nice color, so that is staying. And then the last Coio, I think, is one of my favorites. This is London Underground. This is a very dark inky purple. That is not going anywhere. All right, next up, let's do Circ colors. This first one is Groovy Grape. It is a purple hollow. Obviously, as a purple fan, purple hollows are one of those colors that I need to do comparisons of at some point, but for the time being, that is staying. Next up is Mystic Moonstone. I want to say this is one of the first colors that I got from Circ. It is a very pretty moonstone color. It's got this slightly off-white base with a scattering of hollow micro glitters, and then that beautiful blue flash that shifts to purple, fuchsia. I want to say there might even be other colors, but yeah, that is staying. Next up is Paradox. I think this one might be one of the magnetics. Yeah, holy moly. That is not going anywhere. That is a beautiful polish. Next up is New Wave. I don't remember if this was a magnetic. No, this is just one of their multi-chromes. But look at all the colors. Definitely staying. Next up is Hustle. This is one that I probably got in a mystery box, and it is definitely outside my comfort zone, I will say that, but I feel like I constantly see other people talking about this one, so it's one of those shades that I feel like I am sort of keeping because it's so renowned, but I haven't got it on my nails. At the same time, it's not one of those shades of yellow that I feel like I would avoid. It kind of has this pinch of a green to it, which is interesting. So that one's going to stay as well. Next up is Mobius. I think this is another magnetic. Yeah, so that is a beautiful green magnetic with that multi-chrome magnetic pull. I feel like this is rather unique to my collection. That is not going anywhere. Next up is Dream Within a Dream. I think this is another magnetic. Yeah. Beautiful dark blue with a ton of colors going on in that magnetic pull. That is staying. Next up we have Red Hook. This is kind of actually along the lines of Boston Cream Pie, but a darker tone. So this is more along the lines of an actual clay, but it does still have, as you can see up there where it started to separate, a pinch of that pink mauviness. So that is staying. And as you can see, I actually don't have that many from Circ. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I only have 8 from them. They are one of those brands that I don't shop from all that frequently. I want to say I should have at least one more though. 1 or 2 more. In any case, moving on. Next up we have Claire's. This one is Chromance. This one I want to say I got in either a mystery box or a Goodwill bag. And while it's just a mall brand, this really caught my attention because, I mean, look at all the colors in here. It's a larger particled multichromatic shift, so that is staying as well. Let's do a few more miscellaneous. We have a Covergirl. This one is called Perplexed. This is actually a very interesting color. Obviously it's a purple, and you guys know I love purples. There's also a very pretty shift in here. You're seeing it predominantly as a deep, rich gold, but in person, I feel like there's an orange or a red. There's definitely something else in here. It shifts really beautifully in this base. This is kind of a moody purple, and I really, really like it. I am trying to decide, though, if I need it compared to the other colors that I have, because as y'all know, me and purple, we be mates. I have a lot of them. Do I need to keep every single one that I run into? Well, let's go ahead and just swatch this because I don't know if I ever did swatch this one. Oh my, it is pretty sheer here in one coat. Like really, really, really sheer. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a green shift in this. I'm going to give it another good shake. Just want to make sure I haven't tried swatching it before the pigment was evenly dispersed, because I mean, look at that. That is hardly there. Let's go ahead and do a second coat. I feel like I'm getting a little bit more purple out. A little bit more densely colored. It is pretty. Again, I feel like the shifts in this are absolutely gorgeous. We're going to try this over a color. Not that I should have to do this to keep a polish, but at the same time, I have been enjoying trying out colors over creams. If you've watched any of my hauls lately, that's what I've been trying to do, is I'll pick out some creams and try every single color that I'm hauling over at least 1, if not 2 creams. So what I'm going to do is try it over Feeling Foxy from Orly. That is a very dark, dusty purple. It's got a charcoal, like a mix between a charcoal and a dark purple. I'm going to have to let that dry, but if it looks okay over that, no, if it looks good over that. If it looks okay, I'm not going to keep it. If it looks good, that might be another question altogether. But we're going to just go ahead and let that Orly dry down a second, and then we'll come back at it. Let's go ahead and do another miscellaneous. This is one of the, if not the only Chanel that I have. This one is called Black Pearl, number 513. This either came to me through a mystery box, I doubt a Goodwill store, probably a mystery box, and it is a black pearl finish, sort of a deep charcoal with a green face. I want to say there might be a little bit of shifts, but maybe not much. But mainly I did keep it because, well, it's Chanel. Getting a luxury brand is definitely, well, a luxury. So when I ran across this in a mystery box, I definitely kept it. I have yet to wear it, but spoiler, most of my collection is unworn. So I do want to hold on to this and at least give it a try because it is very pretty. So we'll hold on to that. We'll do one more miscellaneous and then we'll go ahead and swatch that Covergirl again. The next brand is one of the only, if not the only, one that I have from Comet Vomit. I actually don't know if this brand still exists. I got this a long time ago in a Destash. It is a thermal cold sweater, and this is one of those very interesting scenarios where this is how it looked when I got it. It was sold to me as a known dead thermal. So this is how it's supposed to look when it's cold. This is how it looked in the bottle. So it was supposed to be this sort of a gray to peachy orange when warm thermal. And I was fine with that. I was interested or intrigued by it, mainly I guess for that color. mind you, this is a long time ago. And then interestingly enough, this is that thermal that if you've heard me say a thermal came back to life in my house, this is the one. So when I got it, it was dead. It looked exactly like this. I stored it in my closet and all of a sudden it was back to being the gray color in the bottle. Now, obviously it didn't last, but like I said, this was, goodness, I got this probably 4 years ago and it is back to its deceased state. Do I need to hold on to it? I honestly don't even remember why I was so intrigued by it if I knew that it was a dead thermal. I don't know. I really don't know. I think I'm okay letting it go. I've, as I said, had it for quite some time. It is long since deceased as a thermal, so you're just basically going to get that peachy coloration. And I feel like as far as a formulation goes, I would probably reach for an intentional color that was this color. Does that make sense? We're going to go ahead and just let that one go. All right, now let's come back for that Covergirl and see if putting it over Feeling Foxy does it any favors. I will say I don't like the brush. It's one of those long, skinny ones. I feel like that was just commonplace for as old as the polish is. So there it is in one coat over Feeling Foxy versus 2 coats on its own. We'll go ahead and give it a 3rd coat and just see how it builds up. But yeah, this is actually maintaining quite the squish factor. Like really, really squishy. Which is a shame because like I said, the shimmers in this are very pretty. I don't know if you can see, yeah, towards this light over here, you can see that gold, but there's red, and I feel like in certain angles I was seeing a pinch of, yeah, like that gold shifts to a pinch of green. I like it. Okay, we're keeping it. I don't know if it'll last when I start doing comparisons, but I do like how it looks, so we're going to go ahead and hold on to that Covergirl. Cleona Cosmetics next. We have Hitchhiking Ghosts. This one I got through Polish Pickup. It is one of their beautiful shifty polishes, so that is staying. Next up is one of their magnetics. This is Warped, and this is absolutely not going anywhere. Look at that beautiful polish. There's that beautiful blue line, sort of a blurply tone. There's greens and reds. Yeah, that is staying. Next up is another magnetic. This one is Vaporwave. So that is staying as well. This one has more of like a black and green base with all of that magnetic color being pulled into that magnetic line. All of those rainbows, absolutely gorgeous. I do feel like I should have more of that brand as well, but I think that might be it for right now. All right, next up we have one from Chirality. This is another brand where I don't know if they're still making polish anymore. This one is called the Lincoln Letter, and this one is like an off-white or very, very light gray. So it's got these crushed multi-chrome flakies, and there's this blue, like larger particled shimmer or something that needs to be redistributed back into the polish. This is one of the types of polish that I do really like. It's got that crelly base with these crushed multi-chrome flakes. But at this point I do have quite a lot of them, so I do need to see this one swatched as well, because I don't know that I ever did swatch this one either. So, like I said, I do like how these look on the nail. This one also has that larger particled shimmer, that blue, and I want to say there's another particle that I'm seeing as like a pink that catches the light at certain angles. So here's a second coat. And interestingly enough, I feel like a second coat doesn't really change the color very much. It does give it a pinch more opacity. I mean, it's not a super squishy jelly, but it is that crelly. So there is all of those little particles on there. Yeah, you know what? I think I am okay just letting this one go. It's pretty, but like I said, I do have a lot in this finish family with that crelly with multi-chrome crushed flakes. And I just don't know that this one stands out enough among those that I already have. I mean, like I said, it's pretty, but if I was reaching for something like this in this shade range, would this beat out the others that I have in my collection? And that I just don't know. So because of that, we are going to go ahead and let the Lincoln letter go into the Destash pile. Okay, next up, we have another Covergirl, obviously a very different bottle. This one is called Violet Flicker. It did have a lid, but I removed it so that I could put my little nail swatch on here. It came out, I think, in like the Hunger Games collection or something, and for whatever reason, they only ever released it in these tiny 3.5 ml bottles. I don't know why. But it's a very interesting sort of a raisiny browny purple color with a larger particled shimmer that has a lot of different colors going on. So I do want to hold on to that one. It looks like we do have another Claire's. This is a magnetic. Is this another one with no name? Yeah, I think this might be another one with no name. So it might not even really be in my collection, like not in my nail polish app. But as you can see on the magnetic swatch there, it is really neat. It is a dark blue with a light blue magnetic pole, so that's staying. Next up is Ciate. I think I only have one bottle from this brand. This one is called Starlit. This is one that I got in either a Goodwill bag or a mystery box. I'm actually leaning towards the fact that it might have come in a Goodwill bag, I think. And this is very pretty. This is kind of along the lines of like a Tahitian black pearl, kind of like black pearl from Chanel was, except it does have a bit more in the way of shifts going on. It's got a brighter shade of green and some purple as opposed to just that pearly green that the Chanel had, but this is definitely staying. All right, next up, let's go ahead and do Celestial. This one is Aurora. Now, see, this is another instance where it is a blackened base, but look at the shimmer in this one. So it's a larger particled green to purple with some gold, orange, and red at the edges. That is staying because I love that shift. Next up from Celestial is Crystal Ship. This is a beautiful light purple hollow. I think there's a shimmer in here as well. I love the colors that I'm seeing, so that is staying. Next up is Rainbows and Unicorns Unite, and sadly I think that this one faded because look at this. This is the swatch that I did when I first got it, and it seems like any amount of purple pigment in here has completely faded. So right now it's more of like an off-white pink with that hollow and shimmer in it. So you know what, we're going to have to re-swatch it. I'm just going to get rid of that old one. And we're just going to have to see how it looks because there's no point in me keeping a polish that has faded if I don't want to wear it as it is. And the bummer is, again, I don't think I ever did wear that one when it was the color it was intended to be. That is one of the huge downsides of having so much polish. But so far, it's not really ringing my bell. All right, so here's a second coat. And yeah, this is definitely very vaguely tinted a color. It's more of an off-white. And if you've seen my other Destash videos, I'm definitely pickier about my super light shades like this. They just don't really do anything for me. So sadly, I think Rainbows and Unicorns Unite is going to go into the Destash, even though it does have a really beautiful sparkle to it. But we're also going to notate it on the label that it is faded, because sometimes it is hard to tell. I've got a lot of polishes through Destashes, not that this was one of them. Destashes or mystery boxes that are definitely faded and no notation on them, and it's kind of hard to tell until I go in and actually look at old swatches and they're like, wow, okay, that was supposed to be a brilliant purple and now it's kind of pink. All right, next up we have one from Cauldron Lacquer. This is Amethyst Crystal. This is one that I got in a mystery box, and this is in that same vein as the Lincoln letter was. Now, same finish, not the same color. The Amethyst Crystal is more of a gray with those multi-chrome flakes in it, and there are a lot of different kinds in there, as well as shimmer, so that is staying. Next up from Cauldron Lacquer is Snow Moon. This is also a glow-in-the-dark. Trying to remember if this is one that I meant to keep as a topper. But let's go ahead and swatch it and see if it is topper possible or if it's more opaque all on its own. Now, my bottle needs a pinch of thinner at least. It's kind of getting gloopy, but I think that's pretty common for glow-in-the-dark pigment. And yeah, I don't know that this would necessarily be very topper friendly because it is kind of milky. So it does still glow. I didn't supercharge it or anything like that, but I could still see a pinch of a glow. But like I said, I just am not sure if that is going to do what I wanted it to do, which I think was to use as the topper. So you know what? I think I am okay just letting this one go. Yeah, I think we're going to go with it. Okay. Next up, we have one from Cascade Polish. Can't tell if that has just separated or if it has a little bit of evaporation, but this is May Flowers. I want to say this came out in possibly Polish Pickup. And I mean, look at the glitter on this. It is a really pretty lavender with all of that hollow glitter. That is staying. Next up, we have one from Candies. This one is called Peritwinkle, and it is a beautiful blue leaning periwinkle. That is staying. Let's see, who's next? Let's do Caption. So this one is called Read It and Weep. This is a lighter sort of mid-tone gray. And it is just a cream, but I do really like my gray shades. So for the time being, I am keeping this, but as you're probably sick of hearing me say, I do have a ton of comparisons that I need to do at some point. So this might not stay after the comparisons, but for the time being, we'll hold on to it. Next from Caption is Say It, Don't Spray It. I think most of these captions came in the same Goodwill bag that I got last year or the year before that. And I mean, this is such an interesting polish. It has these pale orange matte glitters and some pink shimmer. I think my bottle needs either a good shake or maybe it has slightly dried out. Nope, just needs a good shake. And that pink shimmer also has a shift to gold. It's just an adorable polish, potentially usable as a topper or just an accent nail, so that is staying as well. Lastly from Caption is this one called Rewind Repeat, and this is a beautiful silver chrome. This one I have already worn, and in fact I want to say I also wore Say It, Don't Spray It, possibly as a topper or like tried it as a topper, but this one I definitely remember wearing and I was very impressed with the formulation and how it looked on the nail. It was exactly what I wanted from a silver chrome, so that is for sure staying. Next up, we have one from Candied Apple Polish. This is Warm Fuzzies. This one is a very interesting light cookie shade. It's like the color of a pink leaning cookie, and there's a lot of different glitters. There is, I was going to say black matte, but then look at that one. You see that red that pops up on it? That is not black matte. I don't know what that is. It's not quite black hollow either, but anyways, it's got those very interesting glitters. It has the purple, like magenta metallic glitters as well as gold. So it's a very interesting mix. I do want to see this one swatched though, because it is kind of fleshy in its cookie tone. And I just want to see if this is one that I think I would actually wear or not. So here's one coat. Wow, this is a pretty pigmented first coat. Wow. And yeah, I still can't tell on those because in this swatch, those black glitters that I pulled out, I swear are just black. But in the bottle, I mean, you saw it. It had that red face to it at certain angles, which is very interesting. All right, so here is a second coat of Warm Fuzzies, I think? So 2 coats gets it opaque. Wow. That is actually very impressive. Now, again, the downside of having this kind of a polish be so opaque is you can see there you're kind of blocking out a lot of those glitters because they're getting covered up by the base color, but you can still see some of them. You're getting some of those larger black ones. You can see some fuchsia or magenta and then those gold flakes. There's also like a smaller particle that's a little like, I don't know, teeny tiny micro glitter. So there's a lot going on. Question is do I like it on my skin tone? And I will say it is pretty close to my skin tone. I think more so in person than it is on camera. I feel like on camera it's sort of turning me a pinch redder than I am. So yeah, I don't know. It's cute, but I don't think I swatched it before I decided to keep it, so I think I am okay just letting this one go. That was Candied Apple's Warm Fuzzies, or Candied Apple Polish. Next up we have Cameo colors. This is Double Denim Days, another from Polish Pickup. This is a stunning shade of a denim-y blue with hollow in two different ways. We have the linear hollow as well as a hollow flaky and some shimmer. That is staying. That is so pretty. Next from Cameo Colors, we have Only Bad Witches Are Ugly, another from Polish Pickup. This one I believe I did get through a Destash or a mystery box, and maybe even this one. Actually don't remember on Double Denim Days. Now this is a lovely shade of like a rosy pink. There's more hollow, this time in hollow glitters and linear hollow, as well as a pink shimmer. So this one I do want to go ahead and swatch again. I don't think I swatched it the first time. Pinks are one of those color families that have definitely grown on me. I would say when I first started my channel 4 years ago, I was definitely less inclined to wear pinks. Now I am more inclined, but I am a little bit particular about the shades. Still not as picky as I am about yellows. Yellows are still one of those color families that I am very picky about, but I just want to see if this is potentially too dusty. One of the things that I have been noticing when I'm doing my manis, even for spring, is I'm not really enjoying the ones that are super, super desaturated. So far, it seems like this is okay. It's not super pale. I mean, there's tons of rainbows going on with the two different kinds of hollow in here. That's very pretty so far. So here is a second coat. So yeah, I would say this is a soft pink, but I don't think it is too pale. Yeah, yep. I think this one is a good shade for me. Yeah, it's just one of those things that I've been noticing recently is I'll still like them in the bottle. I'll still like them even if I pull them for like a seasonal rack or something. But if I end up getting too desaturated a color on my nails, I don't enjoy it. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and, whoops, I accidentally put that in the get rid of pile. No, that is a keeper. Whoops. All right, next up from Cameo Colors, we have I Feel Pretty, Oh So Pretty. This is an Anana Maker limited edition. I actually don't know if that was like a box back in the day, but this is a really pretty multi-chrome with multi-chrome flakes and hollow in here. This is very pretty. It is staying. Next up from Cameo, we have Pyramid of Silence. This is another Polish Pickup. I don't remember if I bought this or if I got it in a mystery box. I actually don't remember. It's kind of this taupey grayish color with some red hollow glitters. There's another hollow pigment in here, as well as possibly like a black something or other. I can't quite tell what is going on there. This is a very interesting color, but again, it's kind of similar to Warm Fuzzies from Candied Apple, where it's a little too close to my own skin tone. I mean, I did keep it, so I must have had some sort of plans for it, or maybe I wanted to try it out. It could have been those red glitters that was catching my attention, but I think this time around, I'm okay just letting it go. Yeah, I'm alright just letting that one go. Next up from Cameo, possibly our last Cameo colors, is Dia Optasia. This one I did purchase, I'm pretty sure. This is another Polish Pickup, and it is a beautiful, like teal leaning deep green. There are these golden multichromatic flakes. There's silver hollow flakes, and I think it has another smaller hollow particle. This is beautiful. That is staying. All right, just a few more. This one is from Chaotic Glitz, and this is called Prepare to Face the Butcher Baker. This is a beautiful warm gingerbread brown. It has hollow and it has that warm red glow to it. That is staying. Then we have one random Calvin Klein. This I think came to be in either a mystery box or a Goodwill bag. Again, I don't remember which one, but this one is called Polyester number 600. And I kept it because this is a very interesting army drab green, and there is a subtle, like brighter green shimmer. Now this is another instance where I actually don't remember if I swatched this at all. So we're gonna go ahead and swatch it, see how I like it. I mean, I do like the greens, obviously. That's why I kept this. Very interesting brush, actually, for, what would you call this? Like a department store brand? So see, it's kind of, it's definitely flat, but it's almost like square. And here is a second coat. I will say the formulation on this seems to be a little bit patchy, so I would have to be careful in applying it to make sure that I didn't end up giving myself gaps, but I like that color. Can I see the shimmer in it? Yeah, actually I can. It is subtle. It is a very subtle, lighter, brighter green in this army green, but I like it. So we're going to hold on to that Calvin Klein. That was polyester. And then last but not least, we have Carpe Noctem Cosmetics. This one is called Midnight Violence. This is another brand that I don't know if they're making polish anymore. This was one of the polishes that I got, I believe, from a Destash, again, a number of years ago, so probably 2019 or so. And it is a very beautiful deep blue, and it has hollow glitters and a shifting shimmer. This is staying as well. All right, so there we have it. One of you did suggest that you want to see what I'm destashing instead of just getting a number. So here we go. I have my little tray of polishes that we're destashing. It looks like I've got 8 that are going out and the rest are staying. So, I mean, 8's not bad. I'll take it. I know for a few of the videos, I really didn't end up destashing much of anything, and some drawers are just going to be like that. But yeah, the ones that I think have miscellaneous, I think are going to be easier for me to go ahead and destash some. So yeah, I'll take 8. That feels like a win to me. In any case, hopefully you guys had a good time watching me go through my collection and pulling polishes for Destash. Let me know down below which brands in this drawer were your favorites. And as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me and looking at beautiful polish. If you're new, do think about hitting that little subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss out on any of my new videos, and I will see you in that next one.